Hi, Jason. How are you doing?
Good, Jocko. How you doing, buddy?
Good, thank you. I was gonna ask you how's the weather. I always ask you how's the weather.
Well, hey, you know what? Finally, I can tell you the weather's awesome. We're 25 degrees Celsius here, and the sun's shining. Golf courses are open, and yeah, it's great here.
Well,
Canada is alive again.
well, you have it warmer than us because we're not at 25 degrees Celsius, and we had rain today.
Well, heck, move up here.
Yeah, I need to move to Canada for warmer weather because California doesn't have it. Yeah. So you've been watching the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely, buddy. I'm a hockey guy. I've watched, as much as I can, busy with work and stuff like that. But watching as much as I can and seeing how that goes, and it's been an interesting run so far.
Yeah, the big topic I hear this year is the reffing has been horrible.
You know what? I can't say it's horrible. What I can say, it's super inconsistent. And to me, the game, yeah, we always knew that in regular season, there's going to be a lot more penalties and this and that. It's a little bit tighter, but then in playoffs, it was kind of, I don't know how you say it, man versus man, right? Where
Right.
we're going to let it go. It's going to be rough, tough hockey. And some games, don't get me wrong, they call it that way. Where it's like, no, boys, it's war. And other games, they're just calling everything. And I'll be honest, man, it frustrates me.
What
Because to me, you bring in this bet 99 and bet this and bet that, and now they're gambling on the games, and it's almost like they're trying to manipulate the betting side of life by having inconsistent reffing.
Yeah, and what I talked to Wally yesterday, he's a legend referee in the NHL for like 36 years. He said there's just too many refs and they're like rookies. He says they're going to learn eventually, but he just doesn't think that there's enough training, and that's why it's not consistent. There's too many referees. There's about 100 of them.
Yeah, and I don't know why they go down that road or what they're doing, and maybe it is. It's just it's too much, or maybe for the playoffs they're not narrowing down to kind of just like playoffs. Playoffs are best on best, right? So shouldn't the refereeing be best on best, and you kind of earn your keep? And I don't know. I guess I just have an expectation of NHL playoffs and all playoffs for that matter, that it's going to be best on best and the best team wins, not the one that gets the most amount of calls wins the game, right? You look at the Edmonton Oilers, like their power play is sitting 58 or 59%, which is unheard of. But there's all kinds of calls. Well, would they be the same if it was actual playoffs where, a lot of this little clutches, little grabs, little, gets let go? Now you're going to limit their power plays. Can they play 5-on-5, right?
Yeah. You think that the game is too fast for the referees? And would you go with one ref and two linesmen? Would you go back to the old school days?
Well, I would, for sure, because I like missed calls. I like that excitement in the game where the guy misses one, right? And honestly, I think just how big and fast the players are, putting four other bodies on the ice, it plugs it up.
Yeah. I agree. And
so unless they're willing to, like what I would do, like in all honesty, what I would do in the NHL, and I know they won't do this because they have to adjust all the rinks, and the reason behind it is they don't want to lose seats, like seating spots, so they're going to lose a couple rows. But I would go to an Olympic-sized ice.
A lot of players, Jason, don't like that rule, that idea. I pitched it around to some of the players, former players. They said they like the small rink, the way it is.
Well, yeah, because they can't skate. They can't skate, and it's more of a clutch and grab and easier to contain a guy. So now you have to train the right way and be that much better of a skater and body position and stick position and angles and stuff that, realistically, I'll bet you the ones that say they don't like it are North American born players.
Mostly. But then the other thing is...
And if you talk to...
Yes.
Like if you talk to the European players who are used to that, they would say it's a much better game.
Well, one European player for St. Louis. He played with St. Louis. Swedish guy said he likes a smaller rink. I haven't asked this to
Really?
every player. Jurgen Pedersen said that he likes a smaller rink. It fits his style.
What style of player was he though? Was he
He was a playmaker. No, playmaker.
And he liked the smaller rink?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, that's interesting.
But, big rink, you're going to have probably less scoring because it's bad angles to get a shot. You'd have to bring it more into the middle to shoot. It's more of you can do more saucer passes, obviously, because you have more room, more time. But I think if they maybe went with the one referee, it might be better. Because in the 80s and 90s, you didn't see the refs make too many mistakes. Like, they hardly made
No,
any
you
mistakes.
didn't. No, you didn't. But, I mean, they've also added in 1,900 rules, right?
Yeah, too many.
And well, you can't do this. You can't do this. And don't get me wrong, the whole check to the head thing, obviously you're protecting the players, I agree with. But then, but you look at Jacob Trouba on Timo Meier in New York versus New Jersey. He buries the guy. Obviously he makes head contact first, but it was right through the square of his chest. To me, that's an absolutely clean hit. If that was in the regular season, he probably would have sat for 3 games.
And did he have his head down?
Oh, he had his head down, but that's the way you're trained to skate now.
Yeah,
Head down.
yeah. That's what's happening. The problem, it starts from the childhood when they eliminate the checking as kids. And then when these guys get older, like 10 years ago, these guys were kids. They were playing non-check hockey. And they learn to have their head down. And then it's, it's just that's why they get used to that.
Well, and of course, and you've got all these gimmicks, and I'm not saying these gimmicks or they have a little bit of a purpose to the game, but, you look at that pep and stuff they do with under the sticks. Well, all you're teaching kids is keep your head down and focus on getting this under. Like, that's not the way the game's played. Teach your kid to have your eyes up. I lose my voice I was just on the ice last night coaching a group of 2012s running a practice for them. And, man, my voice was hoarse at the end of it because I was just constantly eyes up, eyes up, eyes up. That's all I felt like that was the only coaching I gave them was pick your head up.
Is that stupid thing they have, right? That you're talking about that thing with looks like a ruler and they can bend it any way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate those things.
It teaches you to concentrate on the ice.
Yeah.
Instead of having your eyes up and looking and seeing and like everybody's like, oh, McDavid did it. Well, no, he didn't. I mean, yeah, sure. Does he do it every once in a while for a paycheck? Yeah, for sure. But he doesn't do that kind of stuff, man. Like you watch the way he plays. He just plays fast and open ice and has his head up. His head's always on the swivel.
You know what's
But we create these gimmicks. We create this stuff and parents buy into it rather than just training the right way and being bigger, stronger, faster, shooting harder, all that stuff. If we would just train simple, you're a much better hockey player.
I wonder if the players actually use those because I see sometimes they show those on the YouTube where they're showing them using it. I'm wondering if the companies pay them to use it, like a commercial.
100% they do.
Yeah.
100% they do. 100%. Like, do they do some of that stuff? Yeah, for sure they do some of that stuff. But that's not their training. That's like maybe 2-3 times in a summer they might pop the peps out and work on a little bit of, softer hands or whatever, finding holes. Yeah, sure. But you don't train with that 24 hours a day. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. What do you think?
You're creating a bad habit.
Yeah. There's a bunch of gimmick stuff out there. I couldn't believe how many, because I haven't been to a hockey store maybe in almost 15 years. And I walk in and I see all the stuff like, we went to United Cycle quite a bit and other shops in Edmonton, and everything they had was legit real stuff that you can use, the hockey gear obviously, but they didn't have all the other gimmicks. It looked like a golf shop, where when you go to a golf shop, they have all that stuff, the gimmick stuff.
Well, and that's kind of what the game's getting into, is because everybody's on YouTube nowadays and watching. Kids nowadays don't even watch the game; they watch the highlights. So they see, and I'm not taking away, from anything I'm going to say about a player. They're all talented players, but you Zegers pulls a move and he does this whatever, flip it on a stick, or
Yeah.
flip it, and then all of a sudden all these kids think that that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no. You one in 10,000 times you try that play, it works.
Yeah.
The other 9,999, you're the ass on the ice that was selfish. Just make the right play.
I don't know how
right
did they
thing.
do this year, Anaheim. I think he's on Anaheim, correct? I've heard about him. I never seen him play.
Anaheim's the winner. They won Connor Bedard. And you watch a kid like Connor Bedard play, and guess what? He ain't flipping pucks on his stick and trying to do any of that stuff. He keeps his game simple. He skates, he shoots, and he passes.
Yeah.
And they're saying he's the next generational player. Why? Because he keeps it simple. He plays the game the right way. Skate, shoot, pass. I don't need any of this fancy, stupid stuff. I'll just skate faster than you. I'll shoot harder than you. I'll shoot more accurate than you. And I'll pass better than you. I'll have better vision because my eyes are up.
Yeah. We never had our
That's what
head
it is.
down. We never had our head down. I think the big thing I would do in this game, the biggest thing is add checking at might level or like Adam Squirt's 10-year-old. If you're 10 years old, you're going to play checking hockey.
To me, Adam hockey is a perfect time to add in body contact. I'm
Yeah.
not saying body checking. I'm not saying open ice stuff. I'm saying body contact.
Yeah.
We add into Adam where it's same way. If it's same way contact, pound them, do what you do, learn to protect yourself, do contact confidence practices. You get to learn, your butt low to the ice, you're in that skating position, your legs are wide so that you're, bracing for impact. I don't just take a hit, I counter hit. All those fun things that we don't teach anymore in the game that really these kids that make it and they play the game and they play the right way and they're sought after players, that's all they do.
Yeah.
That's all they do. They play the game the right way. The kids that don't make it are the kids that parents buy into all these gimmicks and all these guys, all these, I've been down to LA, obviously, Jack, training with you for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, going to the rink, I'll never forget that one Russian guy. I was watching this guy teach. And,
Red Army. Red Army.
Red Army. I'm getting into that. And so he's a young guy. Like he was, I don't know, at the time, I was probably, early 20s at the time down there with you. And I was at the rink and this guy was training kids. And so I'm watching what this guy's doing. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a joke. And I watched this one mom, she's sitting there and, she was cute. So there was a reason why I was talking to her. But, it was, and I'm like, oh, who's this guy? She's like, oh, no, that's so-and-so. And he played for the Red Army. And I started laughing. I'm like, and she's like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, well, you got a kid out there? She's like, yeah, that's my son right there. She was so proud of him. I'm training with a guy from the Red Army, the Soviet Union Red Army. I'm like, ma'am, the Red Army hasn't existed in like 20-some years? She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, that guy's not much older than I am. 20-some years, man. Like, he played in the Red Army when he was 1? Holy shit, I think we would have heard about him on TV. And she was like, well, I'm like, yeah, man, you ever hear of Google? You ever hear of, Elite Prospects or Hockey TV or there's a bunch of different data sites that you can go on? I'm like, pull the guy's name up. This guy doesn't show up. He doesn't exist.
Well,
that means he doesn't play. He's not a hockey player. He's a beer league bum. You go in his closet, he's probably got a set of Cooperalls. And he's teaching your kid? Like, what are you doing? But parents get sold by this shit. And they don't even, as smart as we are, and we're in a computer age, they're not even smart enough to Google a guy that says he's going to train your kid to play for the Red Army. They don't even know the Red Army doesn't exist.
Do you remember what you said to me? I remember that because you told me the stick is like a 10-year-old stick. It comes up to his waist. He was using a really short stick, and he couldn't skate. Like he would look like he didn't look like.
He probably stole it out of the garbage can to go and sell these kids that he's wicked awesome.
The biggest thing. Yeah.
I just don't understand. I honestly don't understand, especially with what you do. And the experience you have, and you played the game. You obviously your success ratio, and the guys that you have in the NHL now, and college, and junior, and all that kind of stuff. You're like your door should be just banging down with guys. And I'm like, but yet there's this air quotation mark Red Army dude coaching kids. Like, man, like parents gotta give their head a shake.
That's just the way it is. It's,
If the guy can't demonstrate, so Jack, I guess it comes down to this.
Yes.
If the guy's teaching your kid to shoot, and he says, hey, if you do it my way, you're going to shoot 100 mile an hour, and he can't shoot 100 mile an hour, well, he's probably not the guy to teach you to shoot 100 mile an hour. Right?
Then
I would say, I haven't shot pucks in a real long time. I mean, I'm probably still touching 90. I would say, hey, I can teach you to shoot, but I can get you to 90. But when you got a guy that's got a little kid stick that he stole out of a garbage can, teaching you how to shoot, and he's probably shooting at 9 mile an hour, well, guess what your ceiling is going to be? 9 mile an hour, because that's what that guy can do, right?
Pretty much. Then shooting is a different aspect of the game, but the biggest problem with the game today, the biggest problem is the internet and the stick companies. Well, not the hockey companies in general, where they're pushing the parents to, advertising that this stick is better, that stick, and their money's going up. Like the price of sticks are just going up through the roof every year.
Oh, Jocko, the price of sticks here, like for one stick, I think my kid uses a Hyperlite or something like that, and I think those are like $349 Canadian for one stick. One stick. Almost $400. Like that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And then I'll tell you what, the price of carbon fiber has not changed since you and I. Maybe technology's changed, maybe they've adjusted kick points, but there is this, and in fact, there's less carbon fiber on those sticks because they're lighter.
Yeah.
So they've actually decreased their costs by lightening up those sticks than when we bought them. And we used to, I remember when those came on, they were like, for a full, like, Easton Synergy was like $120.
Yeah.
And those were super expensive.
That was
expensive. And now you're telling me they're $400? Nah, somebody's making a loot. Somebody's making a loot on all this stuff. And it's crazy because it just comes out of parents' pockets.
Yeah.
Like, I just got skates for Nate, which the team is paying for anyway, but it doesn't matter. But they were total with a second set of blades and those skates was $2,100 Canadian.
That's ridiculous. So that's like about $1,700 US. It's about $1,700 US. Wow.
About $1,700 US.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
To me, that's ridiculous. And are they custom skates? Yeah, they're custom skates. They're built to his feet. But sure. But remember what we used to do with Audi?
Yeah.
Audi built us custom skates to our feet, and they were like $400.
If people don't know who Audi is, he's the guy who created step steel. He's the inventor of step steel. So that's Audi that we're talking about.
He created, his knowledge created like so much more than just step steel. He owned step steel, but he owned pro skates and stuff like that. And, he basically created the custom built boot where it fit your foot and it was custom to you. He's basically, I don't know, Jocko, I'm assuming you'd agree with me, but he's kind of like the skate guru of all times. Like
he's the best. The best.
The Johnny Bauer, right? Like that's who he is, right?
Well, when we got a pair of skates from him, they fit like shoes. Like once you heated them up, because they were so stiff, they had deer skin inside. It was really comfortable. They were like shoes. Basically, your skates, had never had any pain, had a good feel to them. Just so comfortable. Leather skates. I love leather skates.
Custom aligned, like they were honestly tailored exactly to your foot.
Yeah.
They were unbelievable. You couldn't beat them. And
then he mounted the blades too. He mounted the blades really well. So the way we skated, he mounted them. And I remember his shop was just skates. There was not much else. I think he had a few sticks in there.
There was nothing else in there.
Figure skates and hockey skates. That's all. And he had like 3-4 machines, sharpening machines. Yep. So this guy was the best in the business. That's why he was so busy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was 10 out of 10. Yeah, the world misses him in his innovative ways. But it's good on him anyway.
I wish he would come back to building skates again. He wasn't ripping people off either.
No, he wasn't. He was making an honest living, but he was doing a good job, and he did all the Oilers and all kinds of NHL guys and that. And he was a busy guy, but he did a really good job on that. And
Yeah.
but again, he was a no gimmick guy.
No.
Right? It was just, I'll build you the right thing. And today's day and age, with everything we see, it's just about gimmicks and trinkets and I call it the colorful Skittles that they flash in front of you, and you're like, ooh, bunch of colors, right? It must be good. It's like, man, that's not what hockey is. It never will be. It never will be. That's Disney on Ice. That's Gary Bettman trying to change the game.
It's true. When we played at Parkland, nobody had, except for the NHL guys, had the pro stock stuff. A lot of the guys out there, the good players, they had ripped gear, and they were so good at hockey. Didn't matter they played really well, and the gear didn't matter.
But you know what? It was almost, you know what, Jacko? It was almost like the ripped gear showed you played. You know what I mean? If somebody showed up with shiny new stuff, you got made fun of. It was like, oh yeah, shimmy bomb, right? Just starting the game, eh, bud? You know what I mean? Because it's like, it was almost a rite of passage that the scuffs on your gear kind of showed war scars, right? And nowadays, a kid has a little rip in his glove, and it's like, I need new gloves.
I remember one thing that you used to do to the jerseys, and you gave me one of your jerseys. It had a rip in the center. How they have the laces? But you used to rip it, down the middle, and that showed style. Everybody had something they did. And I used to have, the shoulder pads with just the cups on with I got, the Velcros and put together, I sewed together just the straps, what do you call it? Overall straps. And then I put the cups on the side. That was my gear that I wore for the games we used to play. That was it. I used to have shoulder cups.
Well, I'll tell you why there was a rip down the front of my jersey, Jacko.
Why is that?
That was for fighting.
But there was no fighting in Parkland. It was, you were ready for it.
It was all my jerseys were ripped, and I always ripped the front of my jersey. And the reason it was and whether it was practice or anything, the reason behind that was fighting. So you could get out of your jersey faster. Because if somebody grabbed you and got you in a bad situation, you had to get out of your jersey. If not, you were a sitting duck. So that was the reason why every jersey was ripped, and lots of guys did it.
Yeah.
They would put a little tear, just a little tear in their jersey, and then that was just so that if somebody grabbed it, that jersey would rip down the middle more, and then you could pop your head out of there and get out.
Did you ever put the tie down? Did you ever make the tie down out of a lace and a coin, or no? Hockey lace?
Lace and a coin? No, I never did, because I wasn't a scrapper. Did I fight here and there? Yeah, for sure I did. But everybody had to back then, and not that I ever won one, but I was still willing to go. But I never tied down, because that would get you. And obviously, I'm not a big guy, and all the jerseys back then were built for 6'4" guys, not for me. And so to me, I would just end up getting stuck in the jersey, trying to get out of it, right?
Some of the jerseys had straps in them, fight straps. Some of them didn't, so you had to make your own.
Well, I'll tell you what. In junior, I think I was 19 at the time. Someplace in that year, I think it was 19 or 20, when the fight strap came on the jersey, and it was actually mandatory that you had to have your fight strap done up.
Okay, that was probably. You're talking 1998, 1999.
98, 99, 2000, someplace in there.
That rule got in. Yeah, that's right. There was no rule.
And you had to have that fight strap done up, which I never understood. I never understood how that benefited anybody. It actually hurt you because you couldn't get out. Now your jersey's stuck on. So if the guy actually gets you good, he gets that jersey over top your head. You can't just spaghetti out of that and still keep going them, right? You're trapped. So now you can't even see what's coming at you. You just get the tar beat off of you. You just hit the ice.
Well, you know who made that rule? The guy who doesn't fight at all is Bettman. It came from the NHL, that rule. As soon as Wayne got out of the league, I think they made a rule, because Wayne never liked fight straps. He used to cut them off, Wayne Gretzky. So I think after he retired, that rule became mandatory. Okay, this is the new rules now. And you remember Rob Ray for Buffalo? He was a fighter. He used to pull the whole shirt, a jersey, and elbow pads and shoulder pads all off it, in a second. and he'd be fighting with no jersey on. And then after that, they made a
they
rule.
They used to make oversized jerseys that were they basically were designed to rip. Like the trainer, and I remember this clear as day for some of the heavies. Like they would cut the jerseys in different places and have them like barely stitched, so that if he was gonna go and somebody grabbed an arm, that arm just kept coming and the jersey ripped off of him. And all they would do after was just put a few more stitches and put it together again. And it was basically like a Velcro jersey is all it was, right? It was just like, man, if you grab me, it's coming off. That's why you look at how many of those old school 80s, 90s scraps. That's more later 80s, more in the 90s. That all like the guys are fighting with no jersey.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they had tearaway jerseys. They were designed to have tearaway jerseys.
And McSorley's used a goalie jersey. Marty McSorley, he had a goalie jersey, so it was loose in the arm, so he could still punch if you grabbed him in the arm.
Yeah. And honestly, Jacko, that was the design of the jersey. But that was a role. That was a job in the NHL. It's like a goal scorer. Maybe he ran with a bigger curve.
Yeah.
Right? Because, he needed to get it up. So everybody had what they did and what worked. And so these heavies were trying to find it, no different than, the curve of a stick gives you a little bit of an edge in different scenarios, or the lie or whatever, right? It gives you an edge. So that's what guys did. Well, fighters, didn't really care about their sticks too much. They cared about their faces. So if they could get an edge in a scrap, that's what they were doing. And I don't blame them. I love the toughness of fighting in the game. And I wasn't a fighter, but I appreciate those guys that fought for me is essentially what they were doing. And they were standing up and protecting me and making sure nobody took advantage of me.
I've interviewed a few of the tough guys, and they're the nicest people in the world. Like, just talking to them, it's like I've known them for like 20 years. They're like super cool. And that's the attitude. Talking about hockey today compared to back then, do you think that they would have handled Uncle Ned, the players, would they have been able to be out there when Uncle Ned was coaching, or what do you think?
The players back then, absolutely.
No, today.
Not a chance. Because we as parents don't hold kids accountable in life.
With the NHL players.
No, you can't. Look at Daryl Sutter just got canned. You look at Tortorella. These guys, they're not hard on you. They just set an expectation and say, hey, this is the way we're going to play. They're not asking you to go scrap. They're not asking you to do any of that. They're just asking you to play accountable. That's it. Play accountable. That's all they're asking you to do. And the players nowadays, they don't want to be held accountable. We're just going to do whatever we want to do.
And get a paycheck.
That's it. Yeah, and if we don't, and then we just kind of don't feel like it, then we're just not going to do that today. And these coaches are saying, hey, this is not the way the game is. In order for us to win. But I don't think winning the Stanley Cup means as much to the players today as it did back then.
I have to agree. Yeah, I just don't see them talking about it as much. Back then, the guys are like, I want to win the cup, and now I just don't hear about that anymore. I just don't.
Well, you look at Austin Matthews' comments saying when he won the Hart, I'm the best player in the league. I deserve $15 million and to be the highest paid player in the league. Well, when would Gretzky have ever said that? When would Lemieux? When would Gordie Howe? When would
Bobby Orr?
When would any of these guys? Bobby Orr, like the legends of the game. Jacko would have never in a million years come out of their mouths.
No.
They didn't. Did they care about money? Everybody cares that that they're making a buck and they're making a living and they can survive. We all care about that. But at the end of the day, when you're playing a game like that, the only thing they cared about was winning.
Yeah. It's all about the team. It's all about the team. It's a team sport.
Well, you know what? Today, it always used to be you play for the crest on the back, not the name, or crest on the front, not the name on the back.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you're playing for the name on the back.
Yeah. I told Ray.
More little quick things you can do and this and that. They think that drives your worth up because you're fancy.
Yeah. I was telling Ray a while back. I said, Ray Ferraro. I said, Ray, would you agree to have maybe bonuses for players based on performance? So everybody starts in the league at $500,000. At the end of the year, they can be up at $900,000. And if you do bad, you lose money. And if you win the cup, you get 10 times the amount of what you ended the season with. And next year, you start the season at what you ended the season with. He said that will never happen. He said, no way. I said, that'll make the players play harder.
Well, but Jacko, it would. But the problem is you look at hockey versus baseball, basketball, football, all the other professional sports. They're like, we are so. And don't get me wrong, I'm saying we're so low paid, and which is they're still making amazing money. They're making in a year more than most people make in a lifetime. So just keep that into account. But you look at a soccer player will sign a $250 million contract for 2 years.
Yeah.
Making $125 million a year.
But look how many more fans you could fit in the stadium, though. That's why they signed for more money.
And I know that, but I mean, it's when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, okay, well, you know, we are a bit underpaid for what we do, and it is a very violent sport, and you know, statistically speaking, our careers are shorter.
Yeah.
So you know, you got to make your money early in your career before something goes awry.
It's true.
So they look at that, and that's why it would never fly. But it's a great idea. It would be, you know, essentially an accountability league. Someone's holding you accountable to do the right thing.
Yes, definitely.
You want to make money? Play for it.
Yeah. And coaches don't get that same where they get to stay on the team. I mean, they get fired, but players can never get fired. They're under contract. They just either can get traded.
That's exactly it. And that's the problem. Now they have those buyouts that they can buy players out, which is awesome. But you're only allowed like 2 buyouts every, I don't know how many years or how that works. But yeah, it's not like you get stuck with a Jesse Puljujarvi contract, and who's terrible and doesn't even belong in the NHL. And there's nothing you can do. You can't even buy him out anymore because you used your buyout on Lucic, right?
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't work.
So you can only
it protects the players. Everything is protecting the players when, and don't get me wrong, everybody's got a share in the wealth. So if the owners are making hundreds of millions of dollars, well, you know, the players should be looked after too.
Yes.
Because they're the ones actually making the money for the owners.
Yeah. It's but for the coaches, I feel bad for the coaches. If the players are playing terrible, the coach is the one to get blamed. And if, like, Sutter had a coach of the year before, and then this year...
Yeah, he won the Jack Adams.
Yeah, and then this year the players just didn't play. And I think, you know, he got different guys in that just weren't wanting to play. And they purposely sometimes maybe do bad, so the coach goes. And they know that.
Oh, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Because they know they're protected. They got another 4 years on their deal.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I'm still making my money.
Agents protect them. They got their agents protecting them. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just the way it works. It's
yeah. It's unfortunate the way the game goes, and you know, from the internet coaches. You know, and we got a lot of those too, Jacko.
Everywhere.
Where all they do is pick up drills on the internet because it looks, you know, this guy's doing it. I might as well do it.
Yeah.
But they don't actually think the game or understand they don't even know what they're teaching in the drill.
No. They just see it on the internet, and they also have these apps that come on your phone, so they look at their phone to pick a drill, and, you know, they all do the same thing.
There's no purpose behind it.
No.
They all do the same thing. It's honestly, you watch the NHL, I mean, there are some teams doing a little bit of different stuff now, which is cool, but everybody's going to catch on to it, and they're going to do the same thing, and you know, but there's not enough outside-the-box thinkers in coaching today.
No.
They're all, I call them YouTube coaches. They're all YouTube coaches.
Yeah. And, you know,
they don't innovate, they just Google.
They have stupid skating drills where they drop on the knee and slide across, kind of like a goalie doing a kick save, and they go on one leg. I mean, when are you going to use that in the game? You know, it's like, and then they have, like, stuff that they do in figure skating. It just doesn't work. And they open up and they get checked.
Well, like the Crosby.
Oh, they
where they open those.
Yeah.
They open those feet up and
Mohawk.
You're the Mohawks. There you go. That's the
it's
word.
Not even the right term, Jason. It's the wrong words. Mohawk's a basic pivot in figure skating. It's actually, this one's called spread eagle. They even got the wrong name for it. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, and they probably do. And the reason they should have a wrong name is because it's a wrong move.
Yeah.
You know, do you want to have flexible hips and be able to open up and transition? Yeah, for sure. But to hold that move, you are putting yourself in such a vulnerable checking position. Why? Why? You might use that in an entire season. That play might be right. Maybe in 2 seasons, that play might be right once. But I'll guarantee you there's 5 other stronger plays that don't expose the puck in your chest that you can do, maneuvers you can do to not expose that puck and put you in a vulnerable situation and still accomplish the same task without doing wrong.
I want to tell you, a lot of these guys have never really played serious hockey. They're beer leaguers. And they think this stuff works, but they never really played in pressure situations to understand the game. They don't know. They don't have a clue.
But Jack, if somebody's training my kid or coaching my kid, and I'm expected to listen to them, I'm just going to go on one of the databases, pull their name up. If their name doesn't come up, I'm not playing.
But you can make those. They make those stats up. Some people.
You can't. Not on elite prospects.
Before there was internet, some people made their stats up.
Oh, of course they did.
Yeah.
Of course they did. But nowadays, if somebody's looking after my kid or convinces me that to come skate and I can't pull them up on the internet and see who they are, you're not teaching my kid. You're a bum. You're a YouTube bum is what you are.
But show me how you skate too. I mean, sometimes, maybe they didn't play like a Scotty Bowman. And the guy never played, but he played a little bit, but he's a genius coach. Just saying, like,
okay,
the record proves itself.
There are guys out there, and they are, Jack, let's think about this. They're far and few between. Ken Hitchcock, Scotty Bowman, Mr. Miyagi. Those are the 3 that come to my mind that know the game, understand the game, but never played the game. And not never played the game, but you know what I mean, limited playing experience. So, to me, I look at that, I'm like, okay, that's 3 in 50,000 that are out there that are actual coaches that never played the game. I'm just going to make the bet that if I can't pull you up right now, probably I don't want you training my kid.
Yeah. There's a lot of those. Everybody, here in the United States, you can get a coach's card for never ever playing the game, like never ever played, and that you can go to the seminars and get a coach's card, which I don't agree with. But
you spend $1,000, Jack, you might not even be able to stand on your skates. You slap that $1,000 bill on the table, they slap you with a ticket that says, "Buddy, you are a coach."
Yeah, a high level coach too, and a high level coach.
You got the ticket. Oh, high level coach.
Yeah.
And you got this ticket that says, "Hey, I'm somebody," and you flash that around, and everybody's like, "Well, he's got the ticket." Well, he's got the ticket. Well, man, that's no different than driving.
Yeah.
You can go take a driver's test and get a driver's license. It doesn't mean you're Mario Andretti. So that's a fact. Yeah, you can get behind the wheel. You can hop on 2 blades and coast around the ice and spew off, but it doesn't mean you can drive a race car. And hockey players need to be coached by race car drivers.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Some are coached by their own dads, and they do a good job at it. I mean, Gretzky, his dad helped him out. All the dads help their kids out, obviously. But, some parents just don't really know, and they go and research everything on the internet, and they get the wrong information. That's the sad part. And
100%.
Yeah.
100% they do, and that's fine. I appreciate dads and everybody that gives back to the game and tries their best, but don't stand in there and pose as a coach. If you're not, you're not.
Yeah, coaching takes a certain skill, and not everybody can do it.
But that's 100%, Jacko. It's an absolute certain skill, and not everybody can do it.
I think it's a gift. I think it's a gift to be able to teach a group of people, whether it's hockey or whether it's whatever it is, but to get your point across to them where they understand it and perform perfect. That takes a skill to do. It's not everybody has.
100%.
And, coaching,
you're absolutely correct.
You got 20 different minds on the bench that think 20 different ways, and you got to be able to figure them out. And that's not easy for people to do.
No, it's not. It's almost more psychology now in today's day, just with how the kids are built and driven, than it is actually coaching. You just got to get it on the inside of their heads and make them believe they can,
Yeah.
which is awesome. I mean, that's a skill in itself.
Yeah. Motivating. Yeah.
Motivating is a big one. Yeah, 100%.
So a lot of, kids aren't motivated and they have to get motivated to play. A lot of kids don't see the big picture, You have all kinds, You
Yeah.
just got to be able to figure them out. And
Yeah.
that's part of the game.
Well, to me, if you can't get motivated to play, you probably shouldn't play.
Yeah. Do another sport or something else.
Pick something that's your jam.
Yeah.
Is the way I look at it.
Everybody has something that they like to do, a sport or some hobby.
Yeah.
But not everybody has to play
Yeah.
hockey. I don't like to force people to play. It's just play because you love it. And it's a great workout.
Well, and that's the biggest key. Play because you love playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you just shoot around, don't have to play on the team, just to shoot around. And that's fun, I invented stick time. You know that, right?
You did?
Yeah. 1996. There was no such thing
Really?
as stick time. And started here in California. And the owner
that's fun.
the ice was sitting empty every day. And from 9 a.m. to 4 in the afternoon, the pitch black, the one rink, they had 2 sheets of ice. I said, you got to do something. He said, no one's showing up for the pickup game. So I said, do stick time. He said, what is it? So, people just don't have to play a pickup game. Just come out and they shoot around. They get an exercise. They pay $15. He said, let's try it for a week.
Yeah.
And then from there, he just took off. And about 2-3
that's funny.
years, thank you. 2-3 years later, other rinks started doing it, and then from there it just took off. But there was no such thing as stick time growing up. There was just, we play outside. We shoot in our garage, or public skating was always there. Pickup games were there for the adults. They didn't have anything. Now they have pickup games for kids, but they didn't have much of that.
Yeah.
And then it took off. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's been like 20, what is it now? Yeah, almost 30 years. Yeah, 27 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty popular. A lot of people go out there.
It's popular here, too.
Yeah.
They throw shinny on, there's next to nobody. They throw stick time on, there's everybody.
Well, the one other reason I created it was because I think the kids are getting controlled. Just being controlled, and stick time gives them the freedom to mess around and pull Zegras moves and all that stuff. The fun stuff they want.
You know what? That's the only time that those moves are applicable.
Yeah.
Is in stick time. They're not applicable in the game.
Yeah. Well, it was great talking to you, Jason.
Sounds good, Jocko. You take care, buddy.
You too. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Right up.
Thanks.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.